In the morning that is still wet with dew, I step into the middle of the rice field. Wet soil sticks to the soles of your feet, and the air is full of the smell of mud that has not subsided. My rice plants, that have just been planted, with hope and sweat, still fragile, still young, still looking for a hold on the earth. But they came, silently, slippery, greedy, the snails, not one, not two, but hundreds, crawling at the roots, splitting the soft stems with their cruel little mouths. I stared at them, torn leaves, broken shoots, hopes that were beginning to turn yellow, before their time. And there, at the edge of the embankment, I saw one of them. Big, sturdy, as if challenging. My heartbeat began to change. Not out of fear, but out of anger. This wasn't about the plants. This was about self-respect. Silently, I took an empty bucket from the hut. My steps were steady, my eyes blazing. One by one, I hunted them down. I pried them from the mud, I held their slippery bodies. And you threw them into the bucket, like casting a curse back into hell. That day, your rice fields became a battlefield. I didn't speak, my plants didn't make a sound, but the earth knew, I was fighting. I walked between the very young rice plants. The leaves shook softly in the morning wind, as if greeting me, as if begging, protect us. My steps were slow, full of caution. I didn't want to damage any of them that were just starting to grow. But my heart was hot, because I knew, danger had already set foot here. I walked through the rice fields, there, here. Eyes searching, knees bent, hands ready to grip those little enemies. And I saw them, in the mud, behind the stems, under the murky water, the snails. They didn't make a sound, but their silence was mocking, as if saying, we came, and we will return. But I didn't stay silent. With fingers that were now starting to get dirty, I dipped my hands into the mud, lifting those slippery bodies one by one. Nothing can be missed. I hold them tightly. They writhe, trying to escape, but today, I will not let go. My steps continue. My footprints mark the struggle. My bucket begins to become heavy. The sound of shells clinking against each other is the music of war this morning. I don't care about the dirt that sticks to my calves. I don't care about the cold water that penetrates my skin. Because what I care about is my little rice, which is still learning to live. The sun begins to rise. The morning light illuminates my rice field, and I stand in the middle of it, sweating, breathing heavily, but no longer silent. Today I fight, and tomorrow, I will fight again. But I don't know since when. My anger began to fade. You know, earlier I came here with my chest full of coals, with steps battered by anger, because of those snails, because of the small wounds they left on the tips of my hopes. But now, I'm lost, not in anger, but in the rhythm of nature that silently embraces me. The wind blows softly from the north, caressing my face with a coolness that I almost forgot. The blue sky is streaked with thin clouds like a canvas painting. And the gurgling sound of the rice fields, combined with the song of grasshoppers in the distance, all seem to invite me to stop being angry. My hands are still working. I still pick the snails one by one, but now without resentment. There's even a small smile playing on the edge of my lips. I began to enjoy the sensation of warm mud wrapping around my feet, the sound of splashing water every time I stepped, and the gaze of the morning sun that now fell right on my back. As if saying, this is not the end, this is part of the journey. I chuckled when a snail slipped from my grasp, and I chased it like a child playing in the rice fields. Every now and then I stopped, straightened up, looked at the expanse of green around me. Peaceful, calm, without the sound of motorbikes, without the noise of news. Just me, the rice fields, and life growing slowly. I realized, This hunt had changed, from an outlet, to a reunion with myself. Who once loved nature, who once forgot that this rice field was not just a place to work, but a place to breathe, a place to hear voices that were not heard in the city. My bucket was now almost full, but my heart was empty of burden. All that was left was gratitude, because I was still here, still able to feel everything. And when the sun is high, I smile. Today I came as a fighter, but I return as a friend of the rice fields. And in the midst of my steps that began to lighten, in the midst of the splashing water and the rustling of the slowly dancing rice leaves, suddenly the memories appeared, like a wind that came silently carrying the scent of the past. I remembered my childhood, when my body was still small, but my spirit was as big as the sky. In the past, I often hunted snails like this, not because the rice fields needed to be saved, but because of the laughter that awaited in my grandmother's kitchen. My little friends and I would walk along the embankment, shouting, chasing each other. And when the buckets started to fill, we would return home with victory. In the hands of my mother or grandmother, the snails changed form, boiled, seasoned, and finally, served hot with tempting chilies and an enticing aroma. One bite, and the savory taste exploded on my tongue. The spiciness slapped my cheeks, but instead made us laugh. Ah, I thought, why not? Why can't I make today like before? Not only a field of resistance, but also a field of memories. An idea suddenly came to my mind. Later, after all these snails are collected, I will cook them myself. I will mix the spices, red chilies, lemongrass, galangal, lime leaves, and a little coconut milk to thicken the sauce. I will cook with coals, not just fire. Because today I bring a deeper feeling than hunger. I bring memories. I bring a time that never really goes away. And maybe tonight, on the small terrace of my house, with the lights dimmed and the night wind sweeping across my face, I will sit staring at the warm steaming plate, tasting one by one the snails I have hunted, while saying to myself, thank you, childhood, because today you have come back, through a path I did not expect. But of course, not all of them will go into the pot. I choose carefully, only the big, fat, old snails that I will cook later. The ones with hard shells, the ones with thick flesh, the ones that are worthy of being served spicy and delicious. While the small ones, the ones that are not yet ready to be eaten by humans, I put them aside with great consideration. Not because I feel sorry for them, but because I know, I have friends at home who will be very grateful. My ducks. Yes, they wait in the pen with their round, curious eyes. Every time I come home with something, they would approach, making those cute sounds, as if asking, what have you brought today, sir? And this time, I brought a gift for them. These little snails. Will be a little party in the backyard this afternoon. I imagine the boisterous sound of them fighting over each other, their beaks pecking fast, the water in the small pond rippling with their enthusiasm. A simple happiness, that for some reason, can warm my chest more than anything else. Suddenly I feel that today is complete. There are the rice fields that I tend. There are the memories that I meet. There is the food that I prepare. And there are the ducks that will welcome me home, with their distinctive sounds that are like a lullaby. I stare at the bucket that is now full. Half for me, half for them. Then I chuckled, because from the burning anger this morning, now I come home with love. For my rice fields, for my ducks, and for the life that quietly, always knows how to make me smile again.